In the Impact segment tonight, out-of-control violence in Chicago. The crisis gaining new attention after the senseless murder of Nikia Aldridge, the cousin of NBA star Dwayne Wade, over the weekend.
Her life was cut short by gunfire from two convicted felons who were both out on parole, one of whom was on his daily break from an electronic monitoring bracelet. This reprehensible act of violence is the example of why we need to change the way we treat habitual offenders in the city of Chicago. When will enough be enough?
So far this year, murders in Chicago are up an astounding 49% compared to the same period in 2015, intensifying criticism of the Democratic policies that have long governed that city. Joining us now with reaction from Chicago, Hermine Hartman, publisher of Indigo magazine, and from Washington, Crystal Wright, author of the book Con Job: How Democrats Gave Us Crime, Sanctuary Cities, Abortion Profiteering, and Racial Division. We'll start with you, Ms. Hartman. You heard Superintendent Johnson saying murders up 49, astoundingly, murders up 49% over 2015, which was a high year as well. And then we go on to talk about the murder, the senseless murder of Nikia Aldridge, Dwayne Wade's cousin. What's happening in Chicago?
We're out of control. We had 57 shootings in the last 3 days. We are absolutely out of control. I don't think, however, that we can blame it on a party. As you just heard the superintendent say, that was a young man who was out of jail, who probably should not have been out of jail, and was on a break, and he killed somebody. I don't think we can put it on a party. I think you have to put it on the person. Indeed, there is a system
Hartman,
here, or something here.
If you look what's going on in the minority communities in the inner cities, poverty is soaring, wages are stagnant and falling, and victims, African Americans are overwhelmingly the victims of crime in these cities. And these cities, Chicago, Baltimore, Philadelphia, Newark, are primarily in Milwaukee. They're Democrat-run cities. In some instances, 50 years of Democrat-run.
Well, I think that is an issue. I think we are giving our vote to the Democrats, and we're not leveraging our vote, asking for something. But I also think there's some media responsibility here. Donald Trump last week said that he talked to someone in the police department in Chicago and that they could solve this problem within a week, the crime problem in Chicago in a week. If that is true, that needs to come forth, not so much the person who said it, but what is the solution? What America needs is a Marshall Plan for the inner city, for Black America, to solve some of these problems. We need to stop analyzing these problems. We need some solutions to these problems.
Ms. Wright, do you agree? I mean, I guess Ms. Hartman's talking about a bigger plan, a more centrally, federally administered plan. I don't know. It looks like the Democrats have run some of these cities into the ground.
You know, Eric, I spent the bulk of last year writing my book, Con Job, and the last thing Black people need and America needs is another plan. What Black people need to do is stop voting for the Democrat Party, and I think Ms. Hartman, she alluded to that, but the reality is, as you point out, Chicago has a predominantly Black city like Baltimore. We've been seeing this black-on-black genocide for decades. This isn't anything new, and it's been raging under the first Black president. Did you know that in Baltimore, the last time Baltimore has had a Republican mayor was 1967? Same thing with Detroit. You know, we look at these cities, they're run by Democrats. Democrats, every 4 years, they take the Black vote for granted. They tell Blacks lies in exchange for votes. They don't fix the problems of poverty, of crime, high unemployment, low education rates, and Blacks just keep voting for them.
All right, so Ms. Hartman, let me pose the question that Crystal Wright just said. Do Democrats take the Black vote for granted?
Yes, and they take it for granted because we give them the vote. We don't leverage the vote. We don't get anything for the vote. We don't negotiate the vote. We don't discuss the vote.
Right, so
we just keep voting the same way over and over and over again.
Right, so this is not Donald Trump's problem. Donald Trump is making the case.
It's everybody's problem.
Well, let me
It's
finish.
everybody's problem.
Okay, right. But this is black people's problems because we keep voting, not me, but majority of blacks keep voting for Democrats. And like Donald Trump said, what do you have to lose? Everybody hops on Donald Trump for a tweet about the reality of what's going on in Chicago.
Well, let me say this. He said,
really
what
quickly.
do you have to lose?
What is
but
sad?
he didn't say what you would gain.
Ms. Hartman,
so
you're going to gain.
Guys, can I jump in here, ladies, if I may? Let me
all
just
of these candidates are making promises, but they are not telling us what they would exactly do.
So stop. Hold on 1 second. Let me go through a couple of things, a couple of policies, and we can talk about them for a couple of minutes. The policies that Donald Trump has proposed: school choice. He's tough on crime. He's pro-law enforcement. Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, is against school choice. She's in favor of keeping the status quo, protecting the teachers' unions, correct. And also, as far as, she's not tough on crime. She's not pro-law enforcement. So, Mrs. Hartman, let me ask you, which one would be better for the African-American community? Donald Trump's
I don't
policies
know.
or Hillary's?
I have not heard what the Trump plan is. I've heard Trump criticize. No, you haven't.
Eric just,
no. What you heard, that's not what you heard. What you heard is Trump say that he spoke to someone in the police department in Chicago and that they could stop the crime within a week.
Right,
well, how would they stop it? What would they do? What's the solution?
He said he was going to be the pro-law enforcement president. He also said he's in favor of school choice.
You're not dealing with what I'm saying.
Allow me to give
because
Ms.
you're
Wright
going
the
to
final
be
word
pro.
here.
Thank you, Eric. Eric. Here's the reality, and I write about this at length in my book, Con Job. The Democrats' policies have created and they have exacerbated and perpetuated all the problems that have affected blacks over the last half century. When you talk about crime, the Democrat Party wants to support welfare policies that reward black women who are having babies out of wedlock at a rate of 75%. Disproportionate to our share of the population at 13%. Those are the policies that Democrats support when it comes that don't help black Americans. They keep black Americans trapped in poverty. And illegal immigration. Every time illegals come and flood into the country, guess who loses jobs?
Ladies, I'm going to say thank you very much. I hate to cut you off up against the hard break. Thank you very much.